Hi there, we're going to be making Joong today. For more information and the recipe, head over to my blog craftyepicurean.blogspot.com. The first step in this recipe is to soak the glutinous rice. So we've got about 1 kilo of glutinous rice here. Soak it overnight. Also soaking overnight we have about 40 bamboo leaves. So I've just got these soaking in cold water. And you need to make sure you put a weight on top of it. So that's why I'm using 2 plates here. And that just makes sure those leaves are fully submerged. Another thing we need to soak overnight are the mung beans. Now these are peeled mung beans. You'll find them in a packet. They're dried beans and they're all yellow. There's no green skin on them. Now I've drained the rice in the morning, just using the colander. I've just leant my bamboo leaves against the side of the sink to drain those. So here's the rice. We're now going to marinate the rice. So what we use to marinade is soy sauce, a fair amount, about 4 tablespoons or however much you like. And then we have some sesame oil. I use about 1/2 teaspoon and about 1/2 teaspoon of salt as well. Use kosher salt. I use fine pink Himalayan salt in this case. Then mix it around until all that rice is coated in that marinade. So I just clear off my chopping board, bring in 2 bamboo leaves about the same size, and I'm just going to wipe them with a damp cloth, and that's just to get those creases off. So if you've got a crease like I've shown you here on this leaf, you just wipe it with a damp cloth to iron it out. Again with this piece, bit of a creased edge, just use a damp cloth to iron it out. Wipe it off, iron it out. Rightio. Now we're going to prepare some ingredients. So in these Joong I'm going to be putting Chinese sausage. So I've got about 6 Chinese sausages here. I'm just going to cut them into bite-sized pieces, as you can see here. Cool, put them in a bowl, set them aside. And overnight I also had about 6 Chinese mushrooms soaking in the fridge. Just going to drain the water off now and give those a bit of a squeeze to get the excess water out, and then chop those up as well into bite-sized pieces. You'll see I cut around the stalk, which is always a bit tougher, and then cut along the main cap of the mushroom. I also cut the stalks or the stems into the mix as well, just cut them really fine, a bit smaller than you would the cap. Some people like to just discard them because they are a little bit chewy. Anyway, cut them into bite-sized pieces, put them into a container, and then set them aside too as we prepare to make these Joong. Bring in the next ingredient, which is dried shrimps. Now these are the really tiny dried shrimps. They look like, in the packet they look like the dried shrimp skin, but I'm pretty sure they're just little tiny shrimps that have been dried. Now we're gonna start making them. So you grab 2 bamboo leaves, about the same size. Place them on top of each other lengthways, and then bend them or fold them over each other to make a pocket like I've shown you here. Now very shortly my 4-year-old is going to help me fill this one. So start off by putting some rice in. Do you want to put some little shrimps in?
Ooh.
Isn't it?
Yeah. How many pieces do you think we should put in?
1.
One. I think we should put 2. put some mushrooms. Can you reach them? Put some rice and fill it up. Right, when you fill up the Joong with the final rice, try and get it as full as you can, but without overfilling, because it'll make it harder to wrap later. Now that's about enough. I'll just clean up a little bit here. And I like to make it as flat as possible on the top. I find it makes it easier to fold the bamboo leaves and enclose all the filling. So now I'm just going to grab the leaves and fold them down on top of each other to enclose the filling. Now I'm not a pro at this. I don't really have a specific way or a technique that works every time with every Joong, because each leaf is different, but I just go with the shape of it and just keep wrapping around until it makes a tight seal around the filling. And then you use a piece of twine or a piece of kitchen string to tie it up, as I'll show you shortly. And I always like to leave the end relatively easy to undo, so when you come to eat it, it's easy to untie. And there you go, one Joong done. Also going to show you another type of filling that I do, where I put dried shrimps, Chinese sausage, marinated belly pork, Chinese mushrooms, and the mung beans. So again, I grabbed my 2 bamboo leaves, put them on top of each other lengthwise, fold them away from me to make a pocket for the rice and the fillings. And put a spoonful of rice into the pocket. So I always put rice in, then the fillings, and then put some rice on top. So the fillings are sort of sandwiched in between the rice. And you add a bit of each filling. Just a little handful. You know, I use about a teaspoon of those mung beans and just a sprinkling of the dried shrimps and a couple of bite-sized pieces of Chinese mushroom. And then I'll use 2 chunks of belly pork. Now that belly pork's been marinated in 5-spice, dark soy sauce, a bit of black pepper and garlic. Now again, I'll show you how I fold them up. And this time I'm using kitchen string to tie it up. You can use cotton, twine, or natural fibre. Alright, I'm going to show you another one. Each Joong I wrap differently, because it depends on the leaves, so it gives you an idea that there are slightly different ways to enclose the contents. The start of making the packet is always the same. To make the pocket, you always fold it away from you to make the triangular pocket, but I think it's useful to see it a few times. The more times you do it, the better you get, and you just get the hang of how organic the leaves are and where the leaves will naturally want to fold down and over the filling. So again, I've just added rice, a bit of mung beans, a few or a couple of Chinese sausages. I'm putting extra mung beans in here because I actually kind of like them. You can add whatever you like. Traditionally they would have a salted duck egg as well as raw peanuts in addition to the meat and the mung beans that I'm putting in here. As you see here, I've just folded that up, just whatever naturally the bamboo leaves will go around the filling, and then use some twine to tie it up. Now I've put that into a big pot. And when I'm done making all the Joong, this recipe that I've posted on my blog makes about 20. I put it into a big pot and fill it with cold water, making sure all those Joong are submerged under the water. And then you bring it to the boil. Don't bring it to the boil. Bring it to a strong simmer, as you can see here. And then once you've simmered it for half an hour to an hour, you end up with a bunch of cooked Joong. And here I'm going to show you how I've tied it so that there's a little bow, so you can just pull one end and it easily comes off. And I'm just going to unwrap this Joong. So that's the string on. The sticky rice doesn't stick to the leaves, or sticks very little to the leaves. So it's quite easy to peel the leaves off. And yes, the bamboo leaves do flavour the rice a little bit, just if you were wondering. Now I've just gone and grabbed a plate here because I didn't want to put it on the chopping board. There you go, it just rolls off the leaf. I'm also going to go grab a pair of chopsticks, and now I'll show you how the filling turned out. So just open that up, and here you can see the pork, the mushrooms, the sausage, the yellow mung beans have gone into a paste, and that is my Joong and how I like to make them. For more information, head over to my blog craftyepicurean.blogspot.com, and thanks for watching.